On April 14th, a Chinese battery startup that nobody has been talking about rolled out the world's first solid state battery cells off an actual production line. Not a lab, not a prototype controlled environment, but an actual functioning production line. And they are targeting mass production by the end of this year, 12 to 18 months ahead of Toyota, who has been working on this for over a decade. The silver market hasn't priced this in yet, and let me explain why it should. For the last decade, the most detailed publicly available solid-state roadmap right now uses silver carbon composite anodes, and that's about 5 grams of silver per cell and around 200 cells per pack. And that works out to roughly 1 kilogram of silver per 100 kilowatt hours of battery capacity. So for a standard sized EV with a 75 kilowatt hour pack, that's about 750 grams of silver per vehicle. Compare that to today, current lithium ion EVs use somewhere between 25 to 50 grams of silver per vehicle. So the solid state represents a 15 to 30 time increase in silver content per vehicle. Now multiply that by the number of EVs being produced globally, that number gets very large quickly. Tesla delivered 358,000 vehicles in Q1 this year alone. At the current silver usage, that's 9,000 to 18,000 kilograms of silver. And that's just from one manufacturer in one quarter. Now imagine what those numbers look like when solid state batteries is the standard and you're talking about 15 to 30 times more silver per vehicle. That demand comes from the same above ground stockpile that's already running a 6-year consecutive years of deficit. And here's where the story gets even bigger. The battery announcement didn't happen in isolation. 3 other things happened in the same 2-week window that all point in the same direction. First, Tesla confirmed that the Cybercab production has started in Texas, the first fully autonomous vehicle going into mass production at a major Western automaker. At the current silver usage per vehicle, that's another significant demand coming online right now. Second, Joby Aviation and Uber confirmed that air taxi service is launching in Dubai later this year. Electrical vertical takeoff aircraft operate at a much higher voltage than conventional aircraft and need an estimated 5 to 15 kilograms of silver per aircraft for power distribution. Aviation Week is forecasting 2,000 of these aircraft delivered by 2030 and rising to 33,000 by 2050. That's a brand new silver demand category that didn't even exist a few years ago. Really quick, guys, hit the subscribe, drop a like if you're finding this useful, and now let's get back to it. Lastly, SpaceX launched its 1,000th satellite of 2026 on April 14th, the same day as the battery announcement. They now have over 10,000 satellites at 3,500 launches a year. That's 175 to 700 kilograms of silver annually for Starlink alone. A small number compared to EVs, but it's another demand stream stacked on top of everything else. And now, this battery announcement connects something I've been covering for months. China bought 790 tons of silver in just the first 2 months of 26, 8-year high. And at the same time, they locked down their own silver exports through a strict licensing system, and they're pulling silver in from all over the world and not letting any of their own supply out. Now, you look at the fact that China's biggest automaker is backing the company that just moved solid-state batteries into production, and suddenly the silver buying makes a lot more sense. They know what's inside these batteries, and they know what mass production of the solid-state EVs is going to do to the silver demand. And they've been positioning for it all year while the rest of the world was focused on the price chart. So what does all this mean for people like us holding physical silver? The industrial demand story for silver just became significantly more bullish. We've already had 6 years of supply deficit, and we already have COMEX inventories being drained. On top of that, we already had investment demand surging, and now you add about 10 to 30 times increase in silver content per EV if solid state goes mainstream, and you have a supply situation that's already tight and getting a lot tighter. This company may or may not use silver in their specific battery chemistry. They haven't confirmed that publicly, but it doesn't matter. Samsung solid-state batteries do use silver, and this announcement just forced Samsung to move faster. Competition compresses timelines, The solid state silver demand event the analysts were pointing to as a late 2020 story just moved closer. I bought my first silver at about $15 an ounce, and I had no idea this battery story was coming. I just understood that silver was real money with a broken supply picture. The fact that solid state batteries are now adding a whole new demand catalyst on top of everything else just makes me a lot more confident in the stack sitting in front of me right now. So look, a Chinese startup just beat Toyota to the solid state battery finish line. That forces every other battery maker to move faster. Samsung's solid state design 15 to 30 times more silver per vehicle than what we have in EVs today. Tesla's Cybercab's in production, air taxis are launching, and China bought 790 tons of silver in the first 2 months of the year and locked down their own exports. All of this is happening at the same time, and the market is already running a 6 year deficit. None of this is being priced into silver right now. Drop in the comments whether you think solid state batteries change the long term thesis. I want to know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one.